If you're watching this video, you're probably spending anywhere from a couple $1,000s a month to even upwards of tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on paid acquisition. But it's not working as well as you want it to be, and you're not exactly sure what to fix. If I had 48 hours to fix your paid ads funnel, here's exactly what I do step by step to stop you from wasting money and actually scale your ads profitably. My name is Brilliance. I've built 150 funnels for some of the biggest names in the online business space, such as Jordan Welch, Blake Rocha, Mr. Photo 8, Daniel Fazio. And after auditing and building and even rebuilding a lot of these funnels, I understand the fundamentals that allow a funnel to either scale or completely shit the bed. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact process that I'd follow to audit and fix your funnel from the top to bottom, the specific things that I'd look out for at each stage of the funnel, and how I'd prioritize the bottlenecks. And by the end of this video, you know the exact frameworks to diagnose your funnel, identify where you're losing money, and know what to fix immediately. So let's get right into it. All right, so there's usually a fixed number of variables that determine if your funnel is going to scale or not. And the quick rundown is going to be number one, your ads, number two, your landing page, your backend systems, your sales, your offer, and your pricing. And now that we have that figured out, the next thing that we need to do is identify what the key metrics are. And from identifying what the key metrics are, we can go into identifying what the biggest bottleneck is and fixing that first aggressively. Now, what are the key metrics? The key metrics are your CPM, your CTR, which is your click-through rate, your application rate, your booking rate, your VSL play rate, your show rate, close rate, revenue per call, your qualification rate, right? These are the biggest contributors to the performance of the funnel. So you need to observe to see what the biggest bottleneck is and start fixing from there. So you first of all list out all of these metrics, like put them in a spreadsheet alongside what the actual number is. Honestly, again, it's difficult to explain on video because I have no idea what the bottleneck in your funnel is. But when I look at a funnel, I understand, okay, this is the biggest bottleneck that is holding us back from scaling, and then we can go and fix them. So once you figure out what the big bottleneck is, what the number one thing that is holding you back could be the app rate. Maybe your landing page isn't converting into applications. It could be your revenue per call, which means that you can't aggressively invest back into ads because you're not collecting a lot of cash up front on these calls. It could be your qualification rate. It could be the lead quality is shit. It could be that people are not booking calls. Maybe the booking flow isn't seamless and people are dropping off before they're booking a call. It could be your CPMs. The CPMs could be like really high. Let's say $1,000 CPMs, which I haven't really seen. But let's say your CPM is like stupid high, then you need to fix that if you want to scale. It could be your click-through rates where people aren't really clicking through as much from the ad to the landing page. So you need to fix that. So that's just a bit of a rundown of some of these metrics. So the next step here is fixing that bottleneck. Now, what I'm going to do is walk you through every single one of these metrics and how to fix them. Now, if your CPM is too high, you're going to look into the messaging of the ad to see if it's too specific. Because what happens is when you put out an ad on Meta is trying to serve it to as many people as possible. If the messaging is too specific, then it has to do more work to find those people that you're looking for. So let's say, for example, you sell running boots, for example, and you sell running boots to moms, but then you want to sell the running boots to moms who have 4 kids. Now it has to do a lot of work to find moms who have 4 kids, and that means your CPM is going to be high because it has to filter through more people, because Meta is basically an algorithm, right? It has to filter through more people to find that, which means your CPM is going to be high. So again, if you find that your messaging is too specific, just broaden it up a bit and you're going to see your CPM shoot down, right? Again, don't broaden it up to the point where you're getting like shit leads through your funnel, but broaden it up to the point where you are still speaking to the qualified prospect who obviously is qualified to buy your offer or that you can even help. That's what you need to do. Just make sure that as much as you broaden the message, your targeting is still specific to a qualified prospect. Number 2 is going to be the quality of your ad creatives. Is your ad creative shit? Is your background messy? Some people I've seen some people record ads in messy background. So, and it's not just the background, it's just the quality of the creatives, the editing, the audio, everything, the video. So just make sure that you actually have high quality creatives that you're pushing out, because again, Meta is a social media platform and they want people to stay on the platform, and people stay on the platform when they see quality ad creatives or quality content that they actually want to watch. So just pay attention to that, right? Another thing you could consider is if your ad is native to the platform. So it's just like, taking a post on Twitter and try to run that as an ad on Meta. It's not going to perform as well because traditionally Meta is based upon Instagram specifically is based around videos. So it would make more sense for you to run an ad that's native to the platform, right? So it could increase your CPM if you take an ad that is not formatted for the platform and then you try to run it on the platform, right? Another thing to consider is, does your offer resonate? So if your offer isn't resonant to people and basically what people are doing is they're not showing any interest, then Meta is going to shoot up your CPM because it doesn't want that. It wants people to be interested in the ad. It wants people to stay on the platform. So you need to see if your offer is something that people actually want, because if not, then you're just going to skyrocket your CPM because no one is interested. And that means that Meta doesn't want that. Meta is going to punish you for that. The other thing is your creatives. Are your creatives actually diversified? Right? With Andromeda and all of the stuff that's going on, you need to make sure that you have actual diversified ads and that you're pushing out creatives that are not too similar to each other, because right now, if you're going through your ad creation process and you're still building ads where it's still closely similar to each other, it's going to be difficult for you to scale because Meta wants you to create a personalized experience for every single user on the platform, for the users on the platform. And the way you do that is by creating diversified ads that are personalized to each specific avatar. So just make sure you're doing that. Those are some things that you could consider if your CPM is too high. Now, the next is going to be your CTR. So if your CTR is low, this means people aren't clicking through from your ad to your landing page. You also check if your messaging is too specific, that it isn't resonating to most people who see the ad. Just like our example of moms who have 4 kids and moms in general, if you're targeting moms who have 4 kids and moms who have, let's say, a kid or 2 kids see the ad and they skip, that means that your messaging is too specific. And what you need to do is you need to broaden that up a bit and bring in more people, get more people interested and get them to click through. And another thing as well is like, are you driving enough urgency within the ad? Like, are you giving them not fake urgency? Are you giving them real reasons as to why they need this thing now? Are you intensifying the problems and giving them like real emotional urgency as to why they should do this thing now? Not like fake urgency. Like, let's say you can play into some Q4 messaging, like, hey, it's Q4, ad costs are going up. If you keep waiting, you're simply going to nuke your entire ad performance because, ad costs keep rising, so you need to optimize your funnel. Something along like using real urgency. Like, let's say you're serving your kids or you're helping kids improve their behavior, then you're like, hey, if your kid grows with this behavior, then it's going to be extremely hurtful to the family. So like using real urgency, not fake urgency. And then another thing is, is the offer something that they actually need? Like you said, at the CPM stage, is this something that is the offer something that resonates that they actually need? So make sure your offer is something that people need, because if not, then people are going to skip your ad and you're going to have a low click-through rate. Now, the other one is, does your creative look good? Are you playing the character and does your environment resonate with them? Your creative needs to look good. If you're running a B2B service, if you sell an agency service or you sell info, just play the character. Try to film in an environment where it looks like you look the part. If you are a real estate agent, for example, you could have a model of a house or a hotel or something. Have it in mind when you're filming that your creatives needs to, like, you need to look the part. You need to dress like one, and you need to make sure that you're playing the character as well. You need to make sure that when people see you, they can easily identify that, okay, this person is probably who I'm looking for. Before they even go into the ad, like, hey, I understand. It's just think about when you see an accountant, for example, they're in the office and you see a bunch of books about accounting, like you can already sense, like in my background right here, I have a book on Elon Musk, which I don't have it up right now. But when someone sees that, they know I'm an entrepreneur. So it's like stuff like that is going to help your CTR as well, because when people can easily identify with you, they're going to click through. Right. The next is going to be your app rate, which is if your application rate is low. Number one thing that we see a lot of people miss is your page speed. And so let's check if your page speed is good. Usually we see pages built on ClickFunnels, Go High Levels, have a lot of page speed issues. So I like to stay away from those and just use those as CRMs. But again, if you're using stuff like Webflow, like you won't have that problem really. If you're using Framer, you're not going to have that problem. So just beware when you're using, Go High Level and ClickFunnels. I've seen a lot of people have problems with those builders in specific because they have a lot of backend jargon that needs to load up for the platform to actually perform well. So number 2 is your landing page headline, right? So it's actually happened to me. People weren't booking calls through my funnel because the headline wasn't good enough, essentially, right? So you need to test a new landing page headline. You could probably test a new landing page headline. That's the problem, right? And test a landing page headline that is more specific and it's not just too vague and that explains the outcome and also how you solve the problem for them, right? Just be very clear, be benefit focused, like be clear on the way you're explaining the problems and also how you achieve the outcome for them. So just be very clear. And then the other thing is your landing page congruent with the ads. Some people say on the ad, hey, increase your close rate. And you go to the landing page and it's increase your show rates. What you're doing is you're creating confusion in the mind of your prospects, and no one is going to confuse prospect. It's never going to book a call, let alone even buy, right? So you need to make sure that your landing page is congruent. The other thing is your landing page well branded and professional? I see a lot of people talking about, hey, it doesn't matter if my landing page is, built looks like it was built in 2009. People are still going to click through. And yes, while some people may click through, you're going to have a horrible performance because, people don't want to do anything on a scammy website. I've seen a lot of websites and funnels on Meta where you just see it and you're like, there's no way I'm putting in my details there because it just looks like a scammer. So just make sure you're branded and professional, clean, nothing crazy. You're not trying to do animations. Actually stay away from animations because you are dealing with cold traffic. They are crude, have no time. So you need to make sure that you're giving them all of the information up front. And the other one is, is your application too long, and does it have context to do you add context to the question that you ask? Right? If your application is too long, what you do is you create a lot of drop-offs. The intent goes down as they fill out the questions because they're like, wait, I filled out 5 questions now, why am I still going? Right? Just keep it bare minimum, 3 to 5 questions max, and just make sure you're adding context as well to the questions that you're asking. So if you're asking them for revenue, you can say something along the lines of, hey, we're asking this just to know how best we can help you. The other one is your landing page content. Just make sure you're feeding them enough content. Right now, we see a lot of pages with more content. So social proof, the problems, the solutions, how you get them the outcome, why they should trust you, who this is for. Just give them enough content so that they can make the decision of booking a call by themselves. The other one is your booking rate. So if your booking rate is low, number one thing I would advise you check is, checking that you have availability on your calendar, because sometimes people have very low availability and then your calls per call shoots up, or maybe people can only book in a call 2 days from the date. So if people can only book in calls 2 days from the date, some people want to book in 6 days after, some people want to book in 5 days after. So just make sure that you have enough availability, and also during the day as well, you have enough time slots open. So if you have a sales team, just maybe if they're in different time zones or they work different times, what you need to do is basically just kind of cycle it through them so that you're always having spots open, because people are going to be, at different places in different times of the day. So you want to be able to have an option for every single person that is coming through. The next is going to be your user experience of the call booking flow. If it's janky, if you're redirecting people from the type form to an external Calendly link, then that's just going to fuck up your booking flow. Just embed your Calendly into your type form. That is going to help you out tremendously, right? So make sure you're doing that. Do not redirect them externally to a type form. No, you should only redirect them to a confirmation page based on what they have filled out, right? Then the other one is not selling the call and not making it clear that they have to book in a call. So what a lot of people do is they build so much intrigue and they do all of this stuff to kind of make the person interested, but they never sell the call. So always make sure that you're selling the call as the place where the problems are going to be uncovered and also the transformation is going to happen. So also make it clear that they're actually going to book in a call. Something I do on my funnels is under the button, we say, this is going to be a call or something along those lines, right? Or you book a call to get started. Just make it clear that booking is call. Don't do the thing where you're like, hey, booking your, apply for your strategy or apply for a consultation. If it's a consultation, yeah, fine. But just make it clear that they should book on a call. And that's something everyone should be doing. Just make it abundantly clear. The next is going to be your VSL play rate. So if you're not getting a lot of plays on your VSL, even though this isn't really going to be a huge issue, especially now with Andromeda, that you can have hyper-personalized targeting. If your VSL play rate is low and you feel like it's an issue, you can try adding the thumbnail. I like to use a looping thumbnail that loops for about 5 seconds or 3 seconds. That's usually going to help you improve your VSL play rates if you want people to go through and play your VSLs. Right now, I wouldn't worry too much about that. We see about 16, 20. If it's really good, 30% of people playing VSLs. A lot of people aren't really watching VSLs. That's just what it is. But again, by all means, you should have a VSL. I have a VSL. So just make sure you're doing that. Number 2 is test the new headline. So if the headline as well is not resonating with the person that's on the page, it means there's really nothing for them to check out. So logically, they're like, okay, there's no reason for me to click on the VSL because there's really no outcome for me, or this isn't what I'm looking for. So basically, try to test a new headline to see if it's something that could improve your VSL play rates. That's something that you should put into consideration. Another one is frame your VSL inside of the ad CTA. So when people finish ads, at the end of the ad, they're like, just click the button below to learn more. And while that's okay, that's not necessarily bad, you need to frame your VSL in the CTA by directly telling them what to do. So click the learn more button, watch the video on the next page, and then book in a call with me. So tell them what to do, right? Because it's cold traffic. But a lot of people don't know that it's a funnel. You need to make it clear to them what they need to do, because if you don't, you're going to lose a lot of people that would have otherwise come to your funnel because they simply don't know what to do. So tell them what to do. The next is going to be to split test the length of the VSL. Some people aren't going to watch long VSL, some people will. You can also split test the styles of the VSL. So you could try like, Gamma Doc or direct talking to camera. You can split test any of those styles. And then also break off parts of the VSL if there's a lot of FAQ content inside of the VSL. Usually when we make VSLs, there'll be FAQ content at the end. If you find that that's taking up a lot of time, just break them off and record separate confirmation videos for the VSL and put them on the confirmation page. Now, the next is your show rate. So if your show rate is low, what you need to do is you need to audit what happens after someone books in a call. This is where a lot of businesses lose big cash. You need to audit your follow-up after someone books in a call, make sure that they're actually being advisors, make sure that they're sending video selfies, make sure they're sending voice notes, text messages to them, asking them to send resources, make sure you're sending manual pre-call assets like case studies, breakdowns, videos, documents, just going through your process. Just make sure you're being an advisor to them prior to the call, and make sure you have a lot of touch points. So we have a follow-up SOP where, of course, I'm not going to give that away on YouTube. But again, it's like when someone books in a call, first thing you need to do is you need to send them a text message with your name, like, hey, this is Brilliance from Linear Web. And then if they don't respond, even if they respond, sometimes I still double down them, speak to them, try to get their intent up. Essentially, that's what you're trying to do after someone books in a call. So make sure you're doing that, and make sure you're sending pre-call assets. Also trust assets as well, like client testimonials, walkthrough of your Slack channel, videos on negative reviews that people may have given your company, and then videos on connotations and stereotypes as well, because I've lost a deal because the guy said I was Nigerian. So what did I do? I created a video that addressed that problem as to, hey, I'm Nigerian and here's why that doesn't matter. Now, the next is going to be your backend email flow. So you need to split test the number of emails being sent out. So when you build out your backend email flows, just make sure that you're also paying attention to the show rate that you have. So your backend email flow should be dense, like value dense, educative, and you need to make sure that you're sending out all of the right information that the prospect needs to see before they hop on a call. Super essential for you. Now, the next is going to be content retargeting. And basically what you want to do is you want to create a bunch of content, maybe 30 to 50 shorts and even some long form videos. And you want to add them into a content retargeting campaign, set them up maybe, $20-50 a day, and just let them spend, right? And basically you want the frequency to be high on this because you want it to be shown just to people who have booked on a call with you. This is going to help them consume more information because now you're sending them information via text, email, you're in their feed. So they get to consume a lot of information about you. And this is drastically going to improve your sales cycle and just increase the amount of cash that you can collect up front. So just put them, if you have a bunch of educational content, put them in a content retargeting campaign. And it's going to be a cyclic campaign where after someone watched about, let's say, 25% or 50% of a video, you show them the next video, and then the next video, and then the next video, just in that cadence. And then next is going to be your confirmation page videos. Just make sure you have all your videos layered on there, and then you're answering FAQs that people actually care about. And don't leave out anyone, record every single one of them. Even if it's 20 of them or whatever number it is, just record every single, and also audit your sales team and your sales process to see the questions that are coming up as new leads come through the funnel, to know what questions are coming up so that you can answer those and get those answered on your confirmation page. So it's not something that you're waiting, you react to. So you need to be proactive about it, right? So the next is going to be your close rate. So if your close rate is low, you audit your sales process and the script that your sales team is following. Also find out if you guys are using urgency or scarcity the right way and transparently. So for an agency, it could be something along the lines of, hey, we can't take up more than 6 clients this month because if we do, then it's simply going to break our process. So just use the right urgency and scarcity. Use it the right way. Don't use it in like a BS way where it's like, hey, 2 spots open, 2 spots left. No one is going to believe that, and that only makes you less trustworthy. So use urgency and scarcity the right way if your close rate is low, and also implement payment plans. But again, don't mention the payment plan unless the client needs to use a payment plan, right? Again, payment plans can be a crutch and can drastically reduce your revenue per call, which we're going to talk about in a second. But again, introduce payment plans so you can collect more cash, so you're not fucking off qualified prospects that would have otherwise paid, even if the payment cycle is going to be a lot longer, or a bit longer. The next is going to be your revenue per call. So if your revenue per call is low, what you could do is you could fix your pricing, because I see a lot of people trying to run ads and they're selling $1,000 product. Some people like a $29 product. And again, you can run a low ticket funnel, cool, it can be profitable. But if your pricing is too low and you're trying to scale, then it's difficult to scale with like a low price as opposed to a high price. Think about it. If you are spending $5,000 on ads and you want to acquire $1,000 clients, it takes the same amount of effort to target someone who's going to pay you 15, 20, 100 grand, right? It takes the same amount of effort. So your pricing may be too low on the end, and the higher your price, typically the higher the the return on your ad spend. Because let's say you close someone for $20,000 and you spend $2,000 in ads, that's a 10x ROAS. Let's say we have two people, one of them sells a $2,000 product and the other one sells a $20,000 product, right? If one spends $2,000 and makes 2 grand back, that will be break even. But you can also spend 2 grand and close a $20,000 client with the same effort, just targeting different people. So you need to make sure that your pricing is dialed in because it's going to affect your scale, and that's just what it is, right? So another thing as well is, you may not be framing the full value of the offer properly. So if people are not piffing on calls, if they're not paying in full, then it means that, the value of the offer may not be framed properly. So that's something that you need to pay attention to. Make sure that you're extracting all of the problems, making it clear to them, increasing that gap. I'm not a sales expert, but again, you have to increase that gap and show them what they're losing by not having your system or by not using your product or service. So frame the full value of the offer properly. Don't make it as something where it's like, oh, cool, we can do a payment plan. And again, payment plans are cool, but don't make it your crutch. Just make sure that you're framing the full value of the offer properly. You're showing them what they're losing by not using your product or service so that they have willingness to invest more with you. Another thing is, again, don't be overly dependent on the payment plans. I don't like payment plans. PIPs are always better. The other thing is your qualification rate as well. So if your qualification rate is low, then it means that you're going to have less qualified people coming on the call, which is directly going to affect your revenue per call. So just make sure that you have the qualification rate is solid. Anywhere from 3 to 5% is a good during KPI. Now, what do we actually do about the qualification rate? So if your qualification rate is low, you need to check if your ad messaging is reaching the right people, right? You're not using brokey language like free and, stuff that is going to attract people who don't have a, high risk tolerance. There's people exist at different spectrums. There's people who are more willing to take risk. There's people who are unwilling to take risk. So you need to pay more attention to people who are ready to take risk, for lack of a better term, targeting the right people. And again, risk tolerance is just one of them. You also need to have the capital. Just make sure that you're targeting the right people, you're using the right language, and also you're speaking to high level problems. So if you're trying to sell a 20K offer and you're speaking to people like, okay, you want to do this and you're looking for a free product to get this done, let's say if you're a coach or consultant and you want to scale with ads, that's on high level problems. You want to speak like this. So if you're a coach or consultant and you know that you need a funnel, and you've seen a lot of people talk about these webinars, challenge funnels, call funnels, and you see all of them and you know you can make money with them, but you don't really have the skill set to go and build it yourself, and you're successful, you don't really have a lot of time. So let me tell you how I'm going to go and build this out for you so you can invest your time in revenue generating activities and focus on scaling your team, and scaling your ad spend, etc. That's a more high level problem. The only person who's going to resonate with that kind of ad is someone who has those problems, and those are rich people problems, and that's what you want to solve. The next is your pixel conditioning. Just make sure that you're conditioning your pixel in a way where you're only letting the qualified leads hit your pixel. If they're not qualified, especially after you have a bit of data in your account, if they're not qualified, they should go directly to the non-pixel confirmation page. And again, something more important than that is setting up your backend conversion API. So making sure that you send in the data. Once you have a bit of data in, if you're doing this at the start of your campaign, it may not be the best. You want to get some flow. You don't want to strangle the pixel a lot. So use the conversion API, send your data from the back end to Meta so it knows the specific type of person to go look after. Because again, the people who fill out a type form and they're qualified are marketing qualified leads, which are MQLs, but the people on the back end are sales qualified leads. So they're more qualified than MQLs. So you want to be sending SQLs back to Meta. Another thing is you need to audit your sales team to make sure they're not confusing a cold lead with an unqualified lead, because some salespeople get lazy and they talk about, hey, this lead just went cold, when this lead is unqualified, when in reality, this is a cold lead and they haven't done much to increase the intent. So that's really what you need to do for your qualification rate. So if you followed everything that I just broke down, you'd have a complete diagnostic of where your funnel is broken and a clear roadmap to fix it. But here's the thing, I know you're smart and you could probably figure this out if you try long enough, but doing this yourself is probably going to take you way longer than 48 hours, especially if you're not a paid ads or funnel expert. If you want to skip the trial and error and have us audit your entire funnel, or even set up and launch an entire paid ads funnel for your business in the next 14 days, completely done for you, click the first link in the description to book in a call with me. I'll see if we can help you. And if you want to learn how we sell high ticket offers and cold traffic, just check out the video on the screen somewhere here where I break down the entire process step by step. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.